Hello, this is another bad video by Jenna Strawberry. Right now I'm thinking about breaking superstitions. I like tarot reading, and I'm a big supporter of witchcraft at home for all your placebo needs and, uh, yeah. But I just want to highlight the difference between placebos and superstitions. Superstitions are things that you follow because you're afraid, or things that you believe in a superstitious way. Like breaking a mirror gives you 7 years of bad luck. But I've broken a few mirrors in my life, and no one's gonna convince me that that made the difference in the luck of my during my life. Um, but things like that can kind of mess with your head, especially when you've been taught things and there are cultural superstitions where a lot of people believe in it, and it doesn't come from nothing. I think superstitions come from past placebos that perhaps are no longer working. And placebos are things that you do. You can't necessarily prove the difference, maybe, or it's not like, say, like you're hungry and you eat and you're full. That's not a placebo. You're hungry and you chew some ice and you don't feel as hungry for a minute. Is that a placebo? Maybe. Because you're giving your stomach just something cold, but not nutrients. And so placebos are usually temporary or stepping stones to a real action, but it can really help with the thinking process, with emotional processing, and yeah, so that's what I found. I'll try to continue to give more examples because I've been thinking about that for a while, and I think it's a pretty solid comparison and something that to help people understand how to make something more your own in a spiritual practice or religious practice or just personal wellness habits, because I think self-care and self-help therapy work or whatever, doing the work yourself is very important. And there are a lot of services nowadays. If you're a super extrovert and you just don't do that part yourself, you can get by, but if you're an introvert like me, it really pays to do the work yourself so you know what's going on, because it's a little harder to have someone else up in your business when you're an introvert. You're not so comfortable with perhaps being surprised about yourself in front of other people. I think that's common among introverts, the privacy needs, I guess, and building your internal confidence and strength. Yeah, and just kind of your ego, I guess, but in a positive way. Fueling your ego in a way that's healthy. So, like, like vision boarding, drawing a picture of your dream house, or do one of those games where you do makeover and then eventually it might lead to you finding something that you like. Maybe it's a real dream house, or maybe you realized you're already in a house that's almost like that, and in the picture, you thought of one or two things that you could actually do in your real house, and you wouldn't have thought of it. You're thinking, just to get the blocks out when you're trying to be creative and you're trying to be positive and have a positive effect on your life and those around you. So, yeah. Let me think of more superstitions people should break. So for me, I break superstitions about praying. I don't pray. And I don't pray through Jesus' name. Amen. If I say something in my head, there it is. If I write something in a diary, it's to me. Right? And and if I want to pray to the universe or to everyone in the world, I can pray to whoever the fuck I want to, or not, when I want. And you know what? Nothing happens. One of the superstitions that I broke, being a Jehovah's Witness, was when I had sex outside of marriage. And I didn't get struck by lightning. In fact, no one knew. No one could tell. So, I know that seems racy, but sexual superstitions are very heavy on us, and we don't need the psychological pressure about that anymore. We have medicine now. We don't have to be superstitious about diseases. So that's another one. COVID's a virus, and it's killed. You can kill it on the surface, but it stays alive longer on the surface if you haven't disinfected it. So, but once you've disinfected something, maybe wash it with some soap afterward, lick the counter and tell yourself. It's like... That's what I mean by breaking superstitions. It's like an OCD person has fears that they believe they must follow even though other people don't think that it's real or whatever. But honestly, even if you're in a group of people and they all think something, that doesn't mean it's true. We're all subject to group mentality. Unless you're like literally a sociopath and then you were just thinking about murdering everyone. Well, you know what? We don't care about your opinion. Except to figure out how to stop you from forming to begin with. We have abortion now. So I honestly think a lot of problems will be helped by people not just having a kid. Anyway, even though it's a terrible circumstance, and maybe they're going to be a terrible parent to that kid specifically, A rape baby or something when it looks just like the guy? That would be kind of insane, don't you think? Like, honestly, even to create in a person, you adopt them out or something, so you don't have to see it every day, I would understand that. But then they're still out there, it's creepy, alright? It's creepy, and it's your genes, because it's part of you. It's like, that person should be allowed to have an abortion, and not have that be their whole life. That's another superstition, okay, that you're gonna have an abortion and then be sad forever. Well, I haven't had one, so I can't tell you from my point of view, but lots of other people don't seem to be thinking that that's gonna scar you worse than a child that you have to take care of forever, or a new human that shares parts of your genes. Like, that's a big thing, you guys. So anyway, just all over the map, you guys. And breaking superstitions will free you, and you have more time for placebos that work. You can still have hobbies. You can still stir your tea cute, or I always put the milk in and I don't stir it. You know, that's a magic wish, then, if it's making you happy. And that's what makes it a placebo. Placebos are magic. Superstitions are the devil, okay? If that helps. Just think of Jacqueline Glenn. She can't tell the difference. Jacqueline Glenn. Jacqueline Glenn. You can't sit with us. You can't sit with us. She is so superstitious. You watch her like little video series where she checks all the crazy stuff out. She seems so afraid. What's she so freaking terrified about if she doesn't believe in it? That's idiot, honey. So yeah. Okay, how about don't step on a cracker, you break your mother's back. Don't do it. But I've done it a million times and her back is still okay. So I haven't had any kids and my back hurts. So there you go. Broken. Mythbusters. Breaking superstitions. Oh, strawberry Mythbusters. Yum. Let's see if I can think of any more. Okay, well, like in tarot reading, I gave a friend the advice not to be superstitious when they got their first deck because I just think it will go a long way toward making your own habits that work for you and making it more of a personal time instead of like like negative religious time where you're thinking about judgments, thinking about fear, God's looking at me, what's guilt, you know, guilt and shame time. It's like, let's not make tarot reading guilt and shame time. And the way to do that is don't pick that one, you know, don't pick guilt and shame. You know, even before you flip the card, don't think that, okay? Get yourself, because it's your own mind that's going to pick out like a flashcard, like an ink blot test. Your mind picks out, you know, images, impressions, and it could be a little different every time to, you know, depending on the combination of cards, or if you get a new deck, or even an old deck. Sometimes you just spend more time with different cards, so you're in a different mood, something else stands out to you. And so it's a pretty cool way to kind of work on your thoughts or something. So, yeah. I love tarot, astrology too. Part of not being superstitious with astrology is not following all the rules that everyone tells you about a Taurus is like this, a Scorpio is like that. It's fine to listen to that stuff to just get a feel on what people are doing, a sense of the field, but it's really a mistake to follow any one line of thought. You really need to, like, be willing to be open-minded and see the stars, you know what I mean? So, I'd say astrology is a placebo in general because there's not really any scientific basis still. No scientific evidence for why the planets orbiting in different ways would have an effect on our, you know, the moon has effect on the tides, so maybe they do, but as far as we know, that's completely esoteric because we have no evidence for that. So there's no correlation. The gases on Jupiter pull on the chemicals on the Earth or something, you know, like some mineral could like from some mineral. It's a huge planet. Yes, there's a big, but we're all magnetically and energetically in the same clock, as you would, if you will, as you would. But, yeah. Sometimes I can't decide what language I'm speaking. Isn't it weird how many dialects of English there are? The other day I caught myself thinking of American English as English and British English as English. But I was trying to compare them because sometimes I try to watch a show like Downton Abbey, but I can't understand what anyone's saying. It's like my brain doesn't like register it as speech, and so I keep drifting off, like I can't focus, and it's like they're humming a tune or something instead of saying stuff. I was also thinking, I wonder if like westerns were even available in Australia. They have such strict rules on violence material, like in video games. Some stuff's, I mean, you can get around it, I'm pretty sure, but for what's sold in the stores or something, violent games have to be edited and stuff. Some games aren't allowed, some movies and stuff. So I was wondering if westerns, because I was thinking about, I don't know, it's too hard to trace that thought. So, but westerns are all about shooting, and is it ironic that the gun violence is really bad here? I don't know. I think so. It's funny. Ironic. Is it ironic? Isn't it ironic? Everyone, I can't. Anytime someone complains about the use of irony, they never seem to have an explanation as to what irony is. So some people just don't believe in irony, or they choose to follow only one definition when there are many types of irony. And if you're going to speak about irony broadly, that includes all types. So stop fucking complaining about people using the wrong kind of irony. I will shoot you. I live here where there are guns too. Oh god. My boyfriend Steve and I, last night, we just watched, God, I don't know the name of it or anything. Some movie about, it was a real court case. So it was a nonfiction movie, documentary or whatever, covering the court case where this white guy from some hick town shot all these people, and he said the one guy had a gun, but he didn't, and then he shot everyone else anyway. I guess what? He's complaining about rap music. He told them to shut their music off. When one guy did, the other guy said, fuck that. I should kill him, according to this guy. And then he shot everyone. But not the guy who said I should kill him. That was the black guy who was just listening to music. But they got him. It was crazy because the first court case was for everybody, and he got manslaughter for all the extra people who didn't even think they had a gun. He was just shooting everyone. 10 shots. A full 6 pistol, okay? And another gun with 4 shots. This guy shot without a return shot. So, fuck yes, he's in prison for life plus 90 years because they did a second trial just for the murder of the first guy and he got murder on it. So That's the one he got life for. And then 90 years for the manslaughter of the rest of whoever was there. I couldn't keep track of how many people because fucking 10 shots, and the story was ridiculous. It was cool though because his wife told on him that he didn't even see a gun. And that was kind of the big thing because he says he thought so, and that's supposed to be okay but if the guy had something, or if he had really, but he one shot or just pulling your gun out, but they didn't shoot you. So that guy's in prison. That's correct. Murder. You just murdered someone out of road rage while you're in your car. That's not police duty. I thought he was a policeman at first, but I can't seem to keep track. At the end, he didn't seem much like a policeman, so I'm not sure if that was even the case. But I wouldn't be surprised. Because why do you have all his guns? Fuck's sakes. Just for that situation, that guy should not have had guns. It's like, I try to understand that guy's point of view because I think of all sides, and because after all that, not because I think he's innocent, because I think, what the hell were you thinking? And then I'm like, because it just bothers me. Psychology puzzles bother me. What the fuck? And yes, I'm interested in what those people are thinking, but not for them to weigh in on society. They're outliers. They're separate, and so yeah, you're not going to know what they were thinking unless they tell you. So getting me here like that Iceman killer tapes to see what kind of guy this actually is, who's like, that guy was like a for-hire murderer. Honestly, that's a little bit more respectable than this fucker. Anyway, dedicate this to the Iceman. Thanks for telling us what you were thinking. Sucks that your family doesn't get it, but you can't blame him. I guess that's why you didn't tell him. Okay, that's all for now, folks.